Okay,
Oh,
mailbag
yeah.
time. Mailbag time. All right. The mailbag brought to you by Carl Malone. Um,
No.
yeah, no, not him. He's
No.
he's not technically, he is a pedophile.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyways, whatever. So
Unpopular NBA facts.
yes. So first question is from my brother Merrick, and I like this question because it's an interesting question. He asked me, James, he goes, are the Bucks above average at developing role players? Now he's a Bucks fan, so that's kind of what he's watching the league through. But I will say the Bucks have had a fair share of role players be incredibly successful over the last few seasons. I would say you look at like Brooke Lopez going from being, a focal point on offense and a mediocre defensive player to being an elite rim protector slash floor spacer. No one saw that coming, so they're able to squeeze that out of him. Pat Connaughton's been really good. Grayson Allen's been really good. Bobby Portis, another role player who's been really good. I'm trying to think of anyone else. Wesley Matthews has been good at times. Granted, he was a max quality-ish player before
He's
an
already a good
Achilles.
role player. Yeah.
Yeah, before an Achilles injury, but he's had some of his best role player seasons there in Milwaukee. And so, James, what do you think? Do you think the Bucks have like some secret sauce to this, or is this just, you know, playing
I,
next to Giannis is nice?
Yeah, I think it's more a matter of a few different factors. Like, first of all, they're not bad at developing role players. That's
Yeah,
obvious, right?
yeah,
Yeah. But I think that there's a combination of things going on. First of all, yeah, I mean, Giannis pretty much is a one-man system. So, like, you could just put guys in it and it'll work, right? Like, Brooke Lopez, he expanded his range from the mid-range to the three-point line. That's all it really took for him to be a perfect compliment to Giannis, right? I think also personally, I really like Mike Budenholzer. I think he's a good coach. For a while there, he was getting underrated. Then they won a championship. Yeah, right. And then now everybody agrees that he's a good coach. He's always been a good coach, and he's got a good system. It's kind of, it reminds me of D'Antoni in the way that it's like a simplified system that caters to players' strengths, but it's a little more versatile than D'Antoni's. So I think it's a good environment for role players to thrive in. I think they also target good role players and maybe enhance them a little bit, right? But like, for example, Grayson Allen was a really good acquisition. Like, we pretty much knew that he was going to be what he is for them. You could say the same about Wes Matthews, right? So I think maybe they have a tendency, like when I think of like really exceptional developmental teams, the first team I probably think of right now is the Raptors, who seem to perpetually just like have undrafted slash G leaguers slash like late first round, early second rounders who just develop into really strong rotation players. And like, I don't quite see that kind of program with the Bucks, but they're a good developmental team. What do you think?
yeah. I think the big thing with role players is, are they in a role that they can be successful in? And when you have a guy like Giannis, and you have a guy like Drew Holiday, and you have a guy like Chris Middleton, it really allows your role players to, I think, shine and be in positions where they're going to be successful on offense and on defense, right? And the reason being is that those are all two-way guys. And while Middleton's defense isn't as good as it used to be, and probably was kind of overrated for a period of time because the Bucks' overall defense was so good, he's not a zero.
No.
Or if he is a zero, it's because he's like league average at defense, which for a guy who can shoot as well as he does is like very rare. And so what that means is a lot of role players are actually asked to be very good at something to compensate for the team's best players' deficiencies, right? Like Brooke Lopez, you're like, oh yeah, he's a great rim protector. Yeah, he's a great rim protector if you're just like go drop and stand in front of the rim and put your fucking arms up. But if you're asking him to move around and do all sorts of stuff and like, guard guys on his own and be like a Rudy Gobert rim protector, he's not going to be as good. So like Giannis allows him to do what he's good at. Pat Connaughton and Grayson Allen are going to get a ton of open looks, but also like they don't have to always take on like a defensive matchup where they're going to get, like my favorite saying, butt fucked on national TV, because Drew Holiday can be the guy that, you put out there. So I think the Bucks, and this is the beauty of having two-way stars, is that it means pretty much you can fit anyone in there and play them to their strengths. And like that's what the Bucks have is they have stars that allow them to maximize their role players. And it's one of those things where it's like while you look at some teams like for instance like the Hawks, where like your role players need to essentially make up for the fact that Trae Young can't play defense. Or if you're the Jazz, it's like you need your role players to make up for the fact that Rudy Gobert or Donovan Mitchell have like deficiencies somewhere. And I think the Bucks just don't ask their role players to really have to make up for deficiencies. They're just like do these things well because we're strong everywhere because of our stars.
Yeah, they just need to be able to shoot. Basically, you're right. It's like
it's so true.
yeah,
It's like, you know, like LeBron for so many years. It's like, oh, you can shoot. Yeah, you'll be like highly effective next to this dude.
yeah, that's right. If you can't defend, that's okay because LeBron can defend for two men. You know, we don't need any playmaking because we got the whole system in one guy. Yeah, no, you're right. Exactly. It's like a role player's ideal home is with a team who has a star who is weak at what that role player is good at.
And for them, it's just like
there's a mathematical equation in there
yeah,
somewhere.
yeah. It's just like, oh, 3-point shooting, perfect. Okay,